Come with me. The rain fell like shards of glass that October evening, each drop pounding the pavement with relentless fury. Marcus Richardson sat in his Mercedes, stuck in gridlock traffic on Fifth Avenue, his phone buzzing incessantly with messages from his assistant about tomorrow's board meeting. At 42, he had everything money could buy: a penthouse overlooking Central Park, a portfolio worth $50 million, and a reputation as one of Manhattan's most ruthless venture capitalists. Everything except the one thing that mattered. His daughter Emma had been gone for 3 years now, taken by leukemia at just 8 years old, and the hollow space she left behind had turned his heart to stone. He was about to take a call when he saw her. A small figure huddled against the wall of a closed boutique, wheelchair glistening in the rain, her thin body shaking violently. She couldn't have been more than 10 years old, her dark hair plastered to her face, tears mixing with rainwater as she sobbed into her hands. People rushed past her with umbrellas, their eyes deliberately averted, too busy with their own lives to notice a child suffering alone in the storm. Something inside Marcus cracked. Before he could think, he was out of the car, his $1,000 suit instantly soaked, running toward her. "Hey," he said softly, kneeling beside her wheelchair, shielding her from the worst of the rain with his body. "Hey, sweetheart. What's wrong? Where are your parents?" The girl looked up at him with eyes full of terror and pain, her lips trembling too hard to form words. That's when he noticed the faded medical bracelet on her wrist and the worn condition of her wheelchair. This wasn't just a lost child. This was a child who had been abandoned. If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and don't forget to subscribe to Trillionaire in Love for more heartwarming stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Drop a comment below telling me what you would have done in Marcus's situation. "Come with me," Marcus whispered, not even recognizing his own voice. It was gentle, protective, a voice he hadn't used since Emma died. Without waiting for an answer, he carefully lifted the girl from her wheelchair, folded it with one hand and carried her to his car. His driver, Stephen, looked shocked, but said nothing as Marcus climbed into the back seat, the girl still trembling in his arms. "Home," Marcus ordered, "and call Dr. Morrison. Tell him it's an emergency." The girl's name was Sofia, he learned that first night. She was 9 years old and had been living in a group home after her mother died 2 years ago. Born with spina bifida, she had limited mobility in her legs and had been passed over by every potential adoptive family who walked through the group home's doors. Earlier that day, she had been at a medical appointment when she got separated from her social worker. Too scared to call for help and unable to push her wheelchair far in the rain, she had simply given up, deciding that maybe it would be better if she just disappeared, like everyone seemed to want her to. Dr. Morrison examined her thoroughly while she slept in one of Marcus's guest rooms, wrapped in blankets and finally dry. "She's severely malnourished," the doctor told Marcus grimly. "She has pneumonia developing, multiple pressure sores from an ill-fitting wheelchair, and signs of chronic neglect. Marcus, if you hadn't found her tonight, I don't think she would have made it through the week." That night, Marcus sat in his study, staring at the photo of Emma on his desk. His little girl smiled back at him, frozen forever at age 8, her bald head covered with the pink hat she loved. "Is this you, baby?" he whispered. "Did you send her to me?" For the first time in 3 years, tears rolled down his face. Not tears of grief, but tears of purpose. The next morning, Sofia woke up terrified, screaming for her mother. Marcus rushed in and sat beside her bed, not touching her but staying close. "You're safe," he said firmly. "I promise you, Sofia, you're safe here. My name is Marcus, and I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you ever again." She stared at him with those huge, haunted eyes. "Are you going to send me back?" she whispered. Marcus felt his heart shatter and reform in the same instant. "No," he said. "Not if you don't want to go back." The challenges began immediately. Marcus knew nothing about caring for a disabled child. He hired nurses, physical therapists, and occupational therapists. He had his penthouse retrofitted with ramps and accessible features. He bought Sofia a state-of-the-art wheelchair that actually fit her properly. But the physical challenges were nothing compared to the emotional ones. Sofia flinched every time someone raised their voice. She hoarded food in her room, terrified it would be taken away. She woke up screaming almost every night from nightmares, and she absolutely refused to speak about her mother or her past. Marcus's business associates thought he had lost his mind. "You can't just take in a random child," his lawyer warned. "The legal implications alone—" But Marcus had already started the foster-to-adopt process, hiring the best family lawyers money could buy. His board of directors suggested he was having some kind of breakdown. His ex-wife, Emma's mother, called him delusional. "You couldn't save our daughter, so now you're trying to replace her," she said cruelly. Marcus hung up on her and never looked back. The biggest challenge came from Sofia herself. She had built walls so high that even Marcus's patience struggled to scale them. One evening, about a month after she'd arrived, Marcus found her crying in her room. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" he asked gently. She looked at him with such pain that it physically hurt him. "Why are you being nice to me?" she sobbed. "Everyone always leaves. My mom died because I was too much work. The group home didn't want me because nobody wants a broken kid. You're going to leave too. So why are you pretending to care?" Marcus sat down on the floor beside her wheelchair and did something he hadn't planned. He told her about Emma. He told her about the 2 years of hospitals and treatments, about watching his daughter fight and lose, about the guilt that consumed him every day for not being able to save her. "I thought I was done," he admitted. "I thought I'd never feel anything again except this emptiness. But then I saw you in the rain, and something in me knew that I was supposed to find you. Not to replace Emma. Nobody could ever do that. But because maybe, just maybe, we could save each other." Sofia looked at him for a long moment. Then, for the first time since he'd found her, she reached out and took his hand. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything. "I'm scared," she whispered. Marcus squeezed her hand gently. "Me too," he admitted. "But we'll figure it out together." The transformation didn't happen overnight. There were setbacks and difficult days. Sofia had to undergo surgery to correct years of medical neglect. There were moments when she regressed into fear and silence. Marcus had to learn to be patient in ways he'd never been before, to understand that healing wasn't linear. That love sometimes meant just sitting quietly in the darkness with someone until they were ready for light. But slowly, gradually, things changed. Sofia started physical therapy and began to regain some strength in her legs. She would never walk without assistance, but she started using leg braces and a walker for short distances, which gave her independence she'd never had before. Marcus rearranged his entire life around her needs, cutting back on work travel, attending every therapy session, learning everything he could about spina bifida and adaptive parenting. The real breakthrough came 6 months after he found her. Marcus had been teaching Sofia to paint, something Emma had loved, and she had been quietly working on a canvas for weeks, refusing to let him see it. One evening, she wheeled over to him with tears in her eyes and turned the canvas around. It was a painting of 2 people standing in the rain, one tall and one small, holding hands under a dark sky. But above them, she had painted a break in the clouds where a beam of light shone through. At the top, in careful letters, she had written, "Family, is that us?" Marcus asked, his voice breaking. Sofia nodded. "Before you, I thought I was invisible," she said quietly. "Like I was drowning and nobody could see me. But you saw me, Marcus. You stopped your whole life to help me. I don't understand why, but I'm so glad you did." Marcus pulled her into a hug and they both cried. "I saw you because I was supposed to," he said. "Because you saved me just as much as I saved you." The adoption was finalized on a sunny morning in May, almost exactly 1 year after he found her in the rain. Sofia wore a yellow dress she'd picked out herself, and Marcus wore the tie Emma had given him for his last birthday, before she got sick. As the judge declared Sofia officially his daughter, Marcus looked up at the ceiling and whispered, "Thank you, Emma. Thank you for sending her to me." Life wasn't perfect after that. Sofia still had medical challenges and occasional bad days. Marcus still struggled with guilt over Emma and the fear that he wasn't enough. But they faced everything together. Sofia started attending a specialized school where she thrived academically and made friends for the first time in her life. Marcus started a foundation in Emma's name to help provide medical care and support for disabled children in foster care. He discovered that his purpose wasn't just in making money, it was in making a difference. 2 years after that rainy night, Sofia participated in her first adaptive sports competition, racing her wheelchair in a 50-meter sprint. Marcus stood at the finish line screaming encouragement, tears streaming down his face as she crossed it with a huge smile. That night, as he tucked her into bed, she looked at him seriously. "Marcus," she said, "can I call you Dad now?" Marcus felt his heart explode with joy. "I would be honored," he managed to say through his tears. "I love you, Sofia, so much." She hugged him tight. "I love you too, Dad. Thank you for not walking past me that day." That night, Marcus stood by his window looking out at the city, at all those millions of lights representing millions of lives. He thought about how close he had come to driving past Sofia that day, too wrapped up in his own pain to see someone else's. He thought about all the people who had walked past her, who had chosen not to see. And he thought about how one moment of choice, one decision to stop and care, had transformed both of their lives completely. The truth was that Sofia hadn't just gained a father that rainy night. Marcus had gained something too. He had gained a reason to hope again, to love again, to believe that good could come from tragedy and that broken people could heal each other. Emma's death had nearly destroyed him, but Sofia's life had rebuilt him into someone better. Not someone who never hurt, but someone who could turn pain into purpose and loss into love. This story reminds us that sometimes the people we save end up saving us right back. Life has a way of putting people in our path exactly when we need them most. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Millionaire in Love for more inspiring stories. Drop a comment below and tell me about a time when a small act of kindness changed everything. Remember, we all have the power to be someone's miracle. We just have to choose to see them.